Hey friends, my name is Megan and welcome to episode 37 of a Naughty Mess Knitting Podcast. Hi everybody, I'll publish this on Friday, or post this on Thursday night or Friday, so happy whatever day you're watching. I have hopefully a little bit shorter of an episode, so here's the thing. Filming on Thursdays is great. Today I have a really busy day, so I have some earlier meetings that I need to make sure I'm prepared for. So I am filming this early before my workday, and I feel a little discombobulated, but we're gonna be fine. I'm going to film this. I'm not gonna edit until tonight, but I had an idea for something, which if you read captions in Instagram, good for you. First of all. Second of all, I did put something in a caption that I posted yesterday on Instagram that I am going to do a special episode of something that I never thought I would actually even point out. But I like to watch some roundups, but I'm not like a 10 raglans you should make kind of person, because even though I think that's interesting to get people's perspectives, like there's a lot of those, right? I don't need to flood the market on that, but I do want to do sort of like how I was doing the free Ravelry pattern, some other things. Something came up that I thought of that no one's done this, and I need to do it because it's something that I have been thinking a lot about, and I don't like to wear sleeveless tops. So let's be very clear. I don't love to wear them, but I do love cardigans with a knit thing underneath. In the summer, that's impractical. So like I will make some sleeveless tops. I'm just going to do it. I also have some crocheted cardigans that are super holey, but even those, like I want to wear, I have to wear something underneath of them, but, and just a t-shirt is real boring sometimes. So in my knit wardrobe, I have no sleeveless tops. And this year I'm trying to focus on some additions to the wardrobe, not just 8,000 more raglan or drop shoulder long sleeve sweaters, which is what I would tend to gravitate towards. Okay. All that to say, I am going to release probably on Saturday, maybe Sunday, a not very long recap of all of the, like, my favorites of the bra friendly tank top that is size inclusive. It's a pretty small bucket, everybody, but I scoured Ravelry. There are a couple that I'll highlight also that are coming out this summer in case you are just like a new pattern fanatic, which is sort of me. So I feel you. If that is you, we are the same. So I will post that. I'm excited to film it. I'm going to do that probably tomorrow morning. So I can, get it out there in the world. So everyone else who feels that they would like to go around with a bra on, but you still want a cute knitted tank top and you don't want to have to wear things underneath of them, I got you. So coming soon to a YouTube. Okay, let's go through projects. And I only have 3 to talk about, which I feel like is really small. But again, I keep saying this, there are secret things happening. So I've got other stuff I'm working on, but I've made really big progress on all 3 of these. Well, ish. So I'm going to skip talking about the Flower Vortex blanket. Oh, what am I doing? I didn't tell you what I'm wearing. In case you don't remember this, it was the fall when I made it. This is the Skyline Pullover by Tori Yu, who is Tori Knits NYC. I just made the t-shirt version, which is fingering weight. This is DK. Her pattern is like, her samples are fingering and a fluff held together. I chose not to do that. I had this on hand. This was some old hobby yarn that I had for years. And then I didn't, what had happened? I'm going to tell you the story. I wasn't buying hand-dyed yarn yet. I had like made a garment out of Kobu or something from Lion, and maybe a poncho thing out of touch of alpaca, also from Lion. And then I found Hobby and I was like, oh, they have some pretty cheap options for yarn. I'm going to buy this. I bought it for a sweater, but then I started test knitting like very shortly after that. And this was actually for a crocheted sweater. So then all of this yarn that I had purchased, not a lot, like 2 sweater quantities, just went to the wayside because I started test knitting and it wasn't the right weight for things, or I kept thinking I was still going to go back to this pattern. Years and years go by, 4 of them. 3 of them, I don't know. I wanted to sign up for this test knit. I wanted to use something in stash, which I tend to want to do for test knits. Not all the time, but a lot of the time. And I was like, I pulled this out and I said, oh, perfect. Then I started working with it. You guys, this is the worst yarn. It's super crunchy. I kind of love the effect that it has. Like it looks cool. It's flattering. The structure is a little bit, it's kind of drapey, but it's more structured than, you know, a fingering and like a fluff held together. But you can kind of see, but not, it's not super in your face. The shoulder detail that's in the Skyline goes all the way down the sleeve. It looks great. It was awful to work with because it's blown tube construction yarn, and the cotton in it is like not nice cotton. There's maybe like a little bit of wool and acrylic also in this. I can't remember now. I'm not going to go back and look at the stats because this yarn's discontinued, so it doesn't really matter. What I would say is, like, there are other blown tube yarns out there now that I think are much nicer. So if you like the look of this and you wanted to do you were like, oh, well, that looks cool. There are options that would probably feel very nice to work with and feel nice to wear. This just is not one of them. Maybe that's why they discontinued this yarn, because it's the worst. And I'm not saying anything against Hobby, because I've gotten a lot of Hobby yarn that I have liked, and this is just not the one. But I wear it all the time. It's not actually, like, it doesn't feel super uncomfortable like on my chest. It's a little bit like fuzzy, hairy, but it's not pokey, and it doesn't, it's not mohair like it doesn't tickle me or anything. It's just like it's like where my elbows are, and sometimes a little bit like at the back of my neck if it starts like slipping or whatever. Like, I just feel like it's crunchy. It's a weird sensation, and it's not one I would tell you to go after. So one day I'll want to remake this, and I'll probably make it, I mean, I would make this in just a DK weight, because I think the sleeves look or like the detailing looks really nice on my fingering weight, which is like without a fuzzy. It looks nice fuzzy though too, so let's be real. Who knows? Maybe I'll make it again, maybe I won't, but I do like the shaping a lot on this. I love the fit. This is a size, should I look it up for you guys? I had to go deep into Ravelry to find this. I'm sure I have a note somewhere in like my podcasting notes, but this is a size 5. It's 54 inches. I ended up with 54 inches in my bust. My underarm to hem, it's slightly cropped, is like 15.4 inches. That's the only measurements I put in Ravelry. It's a weird amount of measurements, whatever. It is like a bracelet sleeve length. You could obviously make that bigger, longer, whatever. I do find sometimes, like, doesn't that look little? It's just like the perspective. Anyway, because of the drop shoulder where the sleeve is, it is kind of small, and I wish I had added an extra inch. I promptly got rid of the rest of this yarn. I had like 1 ball left, and I obviously would not go back even if I had the yarn to make this longer, because I don't need any reasons to want to keep it, period. So that's my thoughts. Love the Skyline family of things. Love the pattern, love the fit, hate the yarn. I have very infrequently hated yarn also, just by the way. I don't mind working with cotton. I don't mind working with natural fibers. I don't mind working with, like, I don't have any sensitivities. So I feel like that's a lot coming from me, and I'm just gonna, like, I'll stick by it. So that's fine. Let's go through. Oh, by the way, my cup today, it's coffee obviously, is my lovely Jackson Hole, there's a moose on here, Wyoming mug that I got on a trip there a decade plus ago, when I first moved to the West Coast. I went with a girlfriend, and It has been commandeered by my husband most weeks. He's just using this all the time, and I stole it back because it's mine and it matches my shirt. So that's why. I have 2 finished objects. So I was even gonna skip this like right at the beginning. I put them in a bag, that's why, and I just didn't even think about it. So what did I finish, you may ask? My Sophie Shawl. It's done. It's blocked. I was not gonna block it, but I'm glad I did. So I went to knit night this week, and it was just Sylvan and I, and we went to this lovely little cafe and we got crepes. And it was great. And we were sitting there, and I showed her this, and I had just finished it, and I had not blocked it or anything, and it was very condensed looking, and I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna block it. And she's made one of these before, and she was like, it does help open it up a little, and I was like, all right, you're right, I should do it. And so I did. I laid it out on the floor, and it's really long, so I had to lay it in the hallway just on like 2 towels, and it's very long. So here it is in all its glory. I think I was like, who knows which side I was on, but I was on the increases still last week. Maybe I had 1 left or something like that. Like I was weighing my yarn, and now I am complete. These little tails are cute. I don't know how I would wear it. I tried it on last night, and I think I would probably tend to wear it this way with a little bit less, that big bulky thing in the front. Like, that's kind of fun. It's like a really large small fry scarf that that's the scarf. I have like a fuzzy on my face. Finished test knitting for Samantha Guerin the other month. It's so cute. I feel très chic. I really love how it turned out. It makes me so happy. I made this whole thing with my hands. It's my first hand spun knit, which is really exciting. And this is, as a reminder, this is the Sophie Shawl pattern by Mette, who is petite knit. Everyone's seen this pattern 1 million times, but it is super basic. I think the shaping is nice. This is my first Sophie Shawl to make. I do think this is a good like gift knit because it's pretty mindless. It's all knitting, which is utterly fabulous. The increases and decreases are pretty easy to keep track of once you get used to like the visual of it, and you can make a yarn really shine. So if you have like a special yarn you want to do, or if someone just really loves a color and they don't really care about the texture and other things, then this is a great way to just have like a very beautiful knit thing. But like every fold I'm making in this is more gorgeous than the last. It's just the color is so pretty. So this is 100% Rambouillet. What are you focusing on, camera? It doesn't know what to focus on because it's like, this is not a face. It's 100% Rambouillet, dyed for me. Well, not for me specifically. I bought it just on her website. Backloop Yarn Co. She's not got any fiber on right now, and she was like, I wonder if I should do more. And then I showed her this, and I said, please make more because this is so pretty. I'm going to get a lot of use out of this next winter. So that's fun. I have some yarn left. I probably have about 2 grams left, but it was like just enough that it's a 6-row repeat that I would have run out of yarn before I finished the repeat, and that's a whole thing. So I decided to pause and see how I feel, but like maybe I'll add tassels, but I kind of like the simplicity of no tassels. Maybe I'll make like a little headband because I probably have enough for that, which is not a lot of yarn, but like I could make a fingering weight headband. It's probably enough for that. That's finished knit object, and now I have to show you something very exciting. So, as you may all remember, I spun some yarn. I was in the middle of spinning yarn last week. I'm going to put a picture here of what the braid looks like. This is from Twist Fiber Studio. It was gifted for me from my lovely listener, Giselle. She gave me a bunch of just like single 4-ounce braids and bats, and that is amazing. It's been really fun to play with them. Different fiber types, and actually one that I think, I don't know when I'm gonna do it. Maybe an spin from now, maybe next. I kind of want to combo spin these two greens that feel really lovely and like something I'm gonna make. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. It was a Polwarth yarn. This was my second Polwarth spin, I think, but I really love it. It's super bouncy also. It reminds me of Rambouillet. Turned into a lovely yarn, but I wanted to try a traditional 3-ply. And the braid that I picked, I wanted to try the 3-ply. It didn't really matter to me what color. I just wanted to do it. And the braid I picked was red, blue, red. That was the whole braid. There's nothing else in it. It very much calls to me of 4th of July. I got through, okay, so I split the braid into thirds. I got through the first third, and then I was like, wow, that was kind of boring to spin because it was really just like red for a really long time, blue for a really long time, red for a really long time. Fine, totally fine. But I wanted to, you know, maybe do a fractal, and I wasn't sure how I wanted to break it up. I sort of let the yarn lead me. Here's what I did. My second bobbin, I split the third that I was working on into 3. So it was a 1/9 of the braid. And so the color runs a little bit faster because you're only working through a skinnier amount of that fiber. Okay. Then I decided for the last one, I didn't want the yarn to have really like a really large section of red at the front and at the back and, you know, whatever. So I decided to split the third into 6 parts, and then each of those parts just break it in half to start with the blue, have essentially like very short blue, red, blue, red, blue, red repeats. Oh, you just saw the yarn a little bit. Okay. So that's what I did. It was just like a little bit of Chaos Town, but again, you can do whatever you want. They were kind of even, so I do have a little baby skein left over, 2-ply. I ran out of 1. So here is the yarn. It's actually so much more beautiful than I would ever have thought that just a plain red and a plain blue would turn into. It is still 4th of July vibes, like back here. It was interesting. When I was spinning it, the whole effect when it was moving quickly was giving me more like purple vibes. Like this almost looks like a little bit purpley. There are definitely huge parts of it that are like red and blue together. Of different, because there's 3, sometimes it's 2 blues and a red, sometimes it's 2 reds and a blue. And that makes the tint look different, right? That's pretty fun. Honestly, this is probably the best outcome I could have gotten from this. It's still 4th of July-ish. What will I do with it? I don't know. It's really pretty yarn. Here's a kind of adorable little hank. Or a little into a skein. Okay, so can we just talk about this 3-ply? Okay, let's look at a tighter. There we go. How pretty is it? It turned out great. It looks like it looks rounded. Like you can tell over a 2-ply that rounded, like the fiber is just more rounded feeling. I did maybe overply this a tiny bit because I do have a couple little squigglies. My pigtails, like you can see on this end here, there's a couple pigtails. A lot of those came out like I pulled this off the Nitty Knotty and it just went like this. And had like little pigtails everywhere. That happens. When you rinse it, it relaxes it a lot, and then you thwack it on the ground and do whatever, and that also helps relax it a lot. I didn't go crazy doing that, and when I knit with it, like they go away. Like you aren't going to notice it. Your hands also take some tension out of the yarn. It's fine. I really like it. This is not a very good skein, but that's okay. Yeah, I do. I like it. It's still a little patriotic. What will I do with it? I have no idea. I really don't. I feel like I could use this as like a contrasting yarn in something, and depending on what the background cut, like if I did it with a purple, maybe it would like skew less red and blue. I don't know. It's fine. Maybe the baby wants like a super 4th of July tank top. She could. She doesn't know what she wants. She's 18 months old. Here is my leftover 2-ply. I clearly did not ply this as much. I pulled this off the Nitty Knotty after the 3-ply, and this just sort of like was a perfect little circle. Like there was no pulling, but you can see how much more open that is. Plying makes a difference, everyone. And just washing it like this, it blooms really differently when it's not as tight. So, I mean, let me give you the comparison because it's very evident when they're next to each other. Like it looks fuzzy, so fuzzy and open, and this one looks like so much more structured. I kind of like the 3-ply better, but I really liked working with an open 2-ply like this, which is what I made my Sophie Shawl out of. So maybe I like both of them. That's okay too. I'm allowed to. So those are my finished objects. How exciting. Now let's get into WIPs. Lovely WIPs. I have 3 I'm going to talk about, and I'm skipping my flower vortex. I didn't join any more onto the thing. Here's what I did. I did, and I'm not going to even put the picture up for this, so I'm just talking about it for a second. I put the little section I have out on the table, a table in my house, and I put a bunch of things, flowers near it, and I felt like I was missing a couple of colors, a little bit more of the yellows, a little bit more of like a couple blues and other things. So I just made some of those this week, and now I'm feeling pretty good. I'm going to do a sort of picture of it and then mark them off as I go, as I join. So I sort of like, I don't have to hunt for what I want. I think that'll help me from going in and changing my mind 800 times. Those are my thoughts. Okay, now let's go to project number 1, which I did say I needed to get to a certain place, try it on, and then put this down for a bit. I still think I'm going to do that because I really am going to pick up a couple projects this week, like cast on a couple. This is my Hayley Sweater by Iris H, who is Iris Makes. It is a test knit. It's in testing until August. So you guys aren't going to see this until the fall, but put it on your calendars or put it on your wish lists for the fall because it's absolutely gorgeous. I know the Abbye just came out with her V-neck version of a cabled sweater. The difference just being like these cables are really different than Rebecca's, which I mean, as many cabled things are, there's a million cabled sweaters out there. But this has the same as the Hayley Slipover. This has these very fun little diamonds and some 2 other kinds of cable repeats. And it's so fun. Yes, I did a neckline. How beautiful is it? Beautiful? You're right. Stretchy? You're also right. We'll talk about that. This is my top semi blocked. I just steam blocked it a while ago. And then I was at the body. I had like done 10-ish rows. I did another 10 to 12 rows and I tried it on and it fits perfect. So we are good to continue / put this away for a little bit. But before I put it away, I wanted to do the neckline. And so I did that. It like is so lovely. So the pickup was pretty easy. I actually ended up picking up 4 more stitches than pattern. I think that's all. Yeah, I think I'm only over 4. It's a 2x2 rib, so that's okay. That it's like 4 plus, you know, plus whatever you need for the V-neck. So it was fine. Just I was so close to being on for the pickup count, which she gave as an approximation, right? So I could have adjusted, but I wanted to make sure that this didn't cinch up too much because when I tried it on, it was already like in a pretty good place and a pretty good amount of open. So I just made that choice. And that's a little bit preferential. It's not going to change the pattern at all in any way, shape, or form. So test wise, it was an okay choice. And it looks gorgeous. Oh my gosh. Just, you know, completing necklines. Sorry, this hair's, I do not even have anything fuzzy in front of me right now. Okay. Just completing the neckline always makes projects feel so complete. Obviously it's 0% complete. I mean, we're at like a 30% here. Sleeves are a lot. I think I'm going to put it down. I was thinking about maybe picking up a sleeve and doing that. And then, but I like to pick up sleeves close to each other, like one right after the other. So I know exactly what I did for the pickup. So I may chug along on the body over the next couple of weeks and just add a couple of rows here and there, but I might just put it in timeout and not like worry about it, put it in a different shelf so it's not collecting on my couch with all the other things. Just because I do have a lot of time for this, and I have a couple of other things that have a deadline and a couple things I would like to cast on. So, as we've talked about many times over the last couple of weeks, but I feel like I've just been doing the same things over and over. I mean, working on the same projects. I've got my needles down. So now I'm at actively 4 knit projects in my blanket. So that's not a bad place to be. I'm probably going to add 2 things this week, which is not a great thing to do, but what are you going to do? It's what I want to do. Here's the next one. Oh, sorry. Sizing on that. That's the size E. It's a 48-inch bust. The recommended ease is only 1 to 4 inches. It is supposed to be pretty close fitting, though. Ease is just a recommendation. Do what you want. 4mm needles for the body. I used a 3.5 for the ribbing. Now that I did that, I can tell you. And this is in Cascade BFL Red 09. It's 100% BFL wool. It is 262 yards for 100 grams. It is a non-superwash. It does feel very woolly, but it has so much bounce, and I think once it washes, it's going to be even softer. Like, I don't think this is uncomfortable next to skin now. When I tried it on, I did so without like a t-shirt, just my bra, and it was fine. And yeah, that's what I have to say about that. Okay, let's move right along to the wood anemone. So this is the wood anemone by Sorry Nordlin, who is Sorry N on Instagram. In case you don't follow her, you absolutely should. She makes the most gorgeous of patterns. She is the queen of cables. That's what I think her title should be, cables and lace. The queen of cables and lace. She makes the most interesting cable patterns that like sometimes are a little reminiscent of other patterns of hers, or you know, other people are putting out some of those things, but she has some that are so unique and so fun. Sylvan right now is testing the Mila top, which is like a V-neck, kind of like a vest version of the Mila pullover, which I think is a round neck. But so this is a V-neck version, and I just bought the Mila cardigan pattern for this gorgeous squim yarn way over here that you can see on the edge of the camera, this one. And I'm very excited to make that. All that to say, this is not that pattern. This is the wood anemone, which I have been working on. It's on my Make 12. It's not like the first Sorry pattern I ever fell in love with, but it came out last fall, and there's just something about it that really called to me. So I bought the pattern right away. And then I was like, you know what? Because I bought it and I have it and I love it, I am going to put it on this infamous Make 12. And so I did. And this is my second Make 12 only that's on the needle, so I really got to get moving. And I did not make quite as much progress as I wanted to, but y'all, I am deep in the yoke. Here is my progress keeper. Okay. Sorry, phone died. It's the morning, so I was not really like, you know, prepped. Okay. But what I was saying is I added a lot of rows here. So I don't know how many, maybe like almost 15. I think 15 was my goal for one of the days, and it took me two and a half days to do it. I just also, not that it doesn't like hurt my hands, but lace, I feel like doing the going, a lot of knit 2 togethers and SSKs happening, right, to make all of these slanty things, and that this many times catching both yarns is, yeah, not quite comfortable. Anywho, this is obviously directionally upside down, but you can finally see like a whole leaf shape, which is very exciting. I'm into the second leaf is pretty much done. I have maybe 3 lace rows left, so 6 rows total, just to close out some of these swoopies, whatever's happening in this one swoopy. I don't remember what will happen in the pattern, but I'm like doing the last point, so it's going to be mostly knit those rounds, which is very exciting. I'm going to be done I'm going to be done the yoke this week. That is my goal, to be completely done, moved to my 4mm needles, and just zooming through a ton of body rows. Who knows what will happen? I still haven't sewn down my collar. I'll probably do that too before I do a try on. So I should probably do that this week also. But yeah, it's looking great. This is a pretty long cable needle, but like this is going to be, you know, this fits over my whole shoulder. So obviously, you can't see it, how beautiful it is right now, but this is where I'm, you know, what I'm getting through. So quick stats on this. This is a size 5. It's a 48.5 inch bust. The ease recommended is 2 to 6 inches. I'm using 3mm needles for the ribbing, which was the neckline, 3.5 for the lace, and then 4 in theory for the body, which I think will be good, and I think that's what I'll change to. I am using Backloop Yarn Co. Cashmere Sock and Surrey in the colorway Ghouls, and I'm loving them. I'm already made a sweater like this together, which, let's talk about this really fast. Erin put out. So Erin is retiring all her old colorways. The last day for you to get linen sock is on Saturday, and the last day to get any of those colors. She's got a slight discount on them. I think she's even got free shipping. So like run, go get some of her yarn. But this is a burr yarn from her fall collection last year for all the fall months, all the burrs. The Surrey lace is 328 yards for 50 grams, and it's a 74.26 Surrey silk composition. The cashmere sock is an 80-10-10 superwash merino, 10% cashmere, 10% nylon, 400 yards for 100 grams, and it's super lovely and very similar to the combo. I think I just used basic sock and Surrey for a sample that I made for her, which is called the Phaedra, and she just put out a sample reel the other day, and the Phaedra is on top. So if it looked familiar, that's because it is. So yeah, I'm happy to get it for myself. When I was making that was when I decided that this is the most gorgeous of like neutrally blue gray, that you can't tell the color, and every time you look at it, it's a little bit different, and that's very fun. And so I want to have it. Okay. I also ended last night. I probably only did like 3 rows, but I needed to connect a Surrey, and it was across the room. It was already wound, but you know, I wasn't gonna. That's okay too. I am ready for the lace to be done though. Those last 10 rows of lace, whew, what a trial. Let's go through my test knit. So this is the most recent thing on my needles, and this is my Scotchbroom Wrap, which is a pattern by Wool and Pine Designs, Abbye and Selena. They own an Instagram and brand together, I guess, and this is a wrap top with the Scotchbroom lace that they have, a Scotchbroom like boxy tee type thing, that has like, that's the pattern at the top, but it's elongated. It's a good elongated lace stitch. The test is due May 17th. It is April 18th. So I have about a month. I am making a size 5, which is 46 inches. The recommended ease is 0 to +4 inches, but it is a wrap top. So I think that sort of feels like an odd recommendation, because you're going to wrap it over your bust, and it's never going to be, I guess I don't think of it like at your bust point, at least not generally baggy, but maybe I don't know. I don't really, recommended ease wise, I feel like should just be closest to your bust, because you're going to wrap it anyway. I don't know, whatever. I chose to go 1 inch, which some days it's 0. That would be a 0 ease, whatever. To be err on the side of a slightly smaller, because my waist is smaller than my bust for the wrap piece. I'm using 4mm needles for the body, and it's all the same needle. I think you do use a smaller needle for the waistband only. And I'm using Thistle House Yarns Fingering in 10 Fathom C, which is this gorgeous blue. It is a 100% 19.5 micron superwash merino. It's a 3-ply. It's 438 yards for 100 grams, and it is a S on S twisted. I'm getting those weird stitches. You can't really tell, and I don't care, and it's super lovely. It's really squishy and it's super stretchy. The stretch is good, but it is sort of messing with my gauge just a little bit. So what I did have to do is like the back. Okay, so where was I? Oh, I have a little stitch marker. This one is a little wee sheepy, which I got from Hobby a couple years ago. And the back panel, so I was partway through the back panel. I finished the back panel, which was a hefty amount of rows. I'm measuring, you know, I steamed my swatch. I didn't wash it because I figured the steam with this would probably be pretty accurate. I do, like, it did stretch a little bit, and it is a stretchy yarn. So I think I can block it to be very close to measurements if it's not right now. Right now, I think it relaxes to be a little bit like my row gauge is not quite as long as it should be. When I did the front, maybe I was a little more tense too, because this should be measuring very close to the back, and I was like a couple rows off. So I just added a couple of rows in the front, which is not a big deal. I decided to continue. I wish I had thought of it earlier, because I did have like a wee bit of straight before the increases. I didn't know I was off on row gauge on just the front until I got there. So I just added them into my increase section before my like arm increases, like underarm increases, which is fine. I'll adjust somewhere else. I kind of think the way that this is going too, if I need to add any extra length, like in my wrap top for the Alexi Tava one, I don't want to just keep increasing at a higher velocity, at a higher rate. Otherwise, like, it's going to go too far around. So I think what I will do is probably at some point further down the body, I may just skip an increase when I'm getting close to the end, like because like right now it's every knit row I think would be increased, which sort of how Alexi's was. I would maybe just do less. I also think that it won't be as dramatic of a wrap as the ballerina wrap top, but I'm not really sure. We shall see when we get there. And I'll be able to keep trying it on really easily because it's basically like a cardigan, so it's all open. Okay, I finished the right side though, and I did pick up the left. So I will make some decent progress this week. I'm going to definitely connect the body entirely so I can try it on and make sure that the armhole depth and everything is good and that I can keep going, because that would be nice. And I'm excited to get there. So I picked up this is my first time ever doing an I-cord cast on, in case we sort of talked about this last week. So this is an I-cord cast on, which was not very hard. You basically start with 3 stitches and then you're just making an I-cord for as many stitches as you need, but it's kind of like reverse I-cord bind off. I mean, like, you're keeping one of them, like you're doing a make one from it. I don't even remember, you guys. I did this not that long ago and I can't remember. But essentially you end with as many stitches as you need plus the I-cord. So the back was easy because you just knit from it. What it does create for that first stitch is kind of like, you can see here, is sort of elongated. It just is. So I think that's why they chose to do this ribbed section, because in the ribbed section a little bit further away, it doesn't look weird or terrible or anything. And because, yeah, maybe it's weird that there's a little bit of ribbing here, but right next to this reminder, like, the sleeve is going to be this big lace thing. So I think, like, texturally it'll look fine. It's not going to look weird that there's that thing there. I like it. Yeah, I do think it would be a strange choice if you went straight into stockinette though, because I think you would see that elongated stitch. I will put a note in, like, my tester notes, that I think they should put somewhere in the pattern, like, to expect your first row to be slightly elongated, because there was one person who, poor tester, who tested, she saw this elongated thing, ripped it out and tried it again, but she had also posted like a late night note, and then someone was like, wait, no, that's what it's supposed to look like. And she ripped it out and did it again. And like, it's a lot of stitches. It didn't actually take that long to do, but it's definitely the longest cast on I've ever done, because you're fully knitting something too. Anywho, picking up from it though was actually really nice. And like, that's a really crisp little edge I got there. So enjoyed that piece so far. So yeah, I'm gonna I got to doing my first increases. I got to like the first increase rows on this, so I shall just continue going and make good progress this week. I mean, I need to get it joined. I think the sleeves will go pretty fast, but the body is not gonna, I mean, I know it's not gonna go super fast. So I need to like make a good dent in it this week, so that it's a cropped. Okay, let's talk about this really fast. I do believe all of these wrap tops are going to be slightly cropped, because they have to be. I mean, you're supposed to be wrapping at your like natural waist, which is a cropped length. I mean, that's everybody's like usually around your belly button. So that's okay for me. I wear high-waisted pants, or I'll wear this, you know, with a dress or something. So I'm okay with that. But I do have a long torso, so like we'll just have to see if the length that they have selected is like too short. Again, the lengthening shouldn't be too bad. So we'll see. That's all I have to say. I just like, how much do you love this color though? It's so good. It's going to be my first really, really, really blue thing, like in this blue color, though I've got a couple of skeins of blue like this now, including my gorgeous, I'm in the way of it right now, this Porter Woolco, which is really similar to this color, but it's a little bit different. And I very much want to make a t-shirt with that, because I feel it's just so much, it's moody summer vibes. Okay. So we talked all about that. Okay, so those are my 3 WIPs. That's all I have for WIP things that I can tell you about right now, which is so exciting. So this week, my intention is to cast on my Sundial tee, which is for my Iris Makes knit along, for her knit along. I have the yarn wound upstairs, and I thought about it last night, and I wanted to just make some extra progress on these. And so that's what I did, and that's okay. I need to pick the blanket back up just to get some more of these flowers now joined together, now that I have a pretty good plan. And I am going to cast on my gift knit, the next gift knit, which is a Daydreamer by Andrea Mowry in a very lovely purple for my other sister-in-law, Lauren. And I need to get that going just so I don't like put it off. That's the main reason. I'm really excited to get that one on too, even though it's another cable-y thing to add to the cable-y things. And I think this one's probably going to be like all charted and tons of charts and stuff. But it's the smallest size that I'm making, the smallest size, which is still like a decent, it's like 40 inches, because that's the smallest size. It's a super oversized thing. It's a V-neck, but it's a DK weight. I hope it goes pretty fast. I got hopes and dreams. I totally forgot that I have a quick acquisition, and so I'm going to slip this into the video wherever that's supposed to be. I didn't open it before, but I did get my payment for my test, or my sample knit for Erin, and it is this summer sock. So I'm going to put this out on Friday, and you guys will have one more day to order. So if you have not gotten it, go. Let me show you. I decided to get 3 for a tee in Summer Haze, which is as good as I thought it was gonna be. Oh my god, it's like the most perfect purple. Wow, it's so pretty. Okay, let me hold up 2 of them and see if the camera will catch it. That's showing a pretty true to life. It's got a lot of depth in there. It's like almost got like some pinky tinges, some gray tinges, and some blue. Purple, obviously blue and red make purple, but like you can really see the depth of color in there. It's much purpler than Ghouls, but it's got that same kind of like, it can't decide exactly what shade it is. Back here, it looks like pretty purple. This is pretty true to life. I love it. It's super cute. So I got 3 skeins for a tee of some sort, and I will be making that. I don't know when or exactly what. This was one, I know I said I wasn't going to buy much more yarn without having a project in mind, but this was payment yarn, and I wanted to capitalize on getting some of this really silkier version of this linen silk alpaca blend. And I look how like drapey, they're like so floopy. It's both the alpaca and the linen, I think, that make it just like the floopiest yarn. So I don't know what I'm going to make, but I have a couple of ideas. And one of them actually is, I might do, I can never remember the name of this one, but I'll pop the picture up, that Jessie made, like open edge tee. It's a V-neck version, V-neck tee. I think it's V-neck, but it's got like the drop stitches are here instead of like all the way down, the line all the way down. And I think there's 2 in like the outline tee. So it's like in that sort of family, but probably something I gravitate towards more. So here we are. That's maybe what I'll do, but you never know. We'll see. Let's talk about books. Okay, this week I finished 2 books. I think I said, oh, I started another book, and then I couldn't remember what it was last week. I had gone 10 minutes into it, honestly. I picked it up and then I decided I was too tired. I started and finished Divine Rivals, which is the first in the Letters of Enchantment series. I don't know how many are out. Let's look really fast. Yeah, 2 are out. It's only 2. That's a little bit confusing. Okay, why would you call it a series? It's a duology, I suppose. It's so Letters of Enchantment. It is about rivals. It is it's, you know, I don't know if there's a traditional enemies to lovers. It still would fall into the enemies to lovers camp of love stories, but it's with a twist, as they all are. It is about 2 young people who are living, like, they're both journalists and very young, like 18 years old, which is crazy, but you know, in a semi-magical world, people don't have magic, but there are gods that live among them and lesser gods, and they don't really explain the god structure very much, but a little bit. It comes and goes. So anyway, there are gods that are warring, and they just influence humans to fight for them in this war, which is interesting. And one god is just trying to find the other. Yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting thing. Anyway, these 2 young people are journalists living in the neighboring country to where the war is actually happening, and I don't want to give too much away, but they get entangled more with the war, and yeah, and you get to, like, it's a little World War II-esque in that there are trenches and like the way like grenades are being used, and there's actual, like, there's guns, and yeah, it was a little bit, it's an interesting take on a war type book. It was interesting. I liked it. I don't know that I loved it. I will probably read the second one because I want to know what happens. Yeah, I liked a lot of the parts of it. I just, like, it's not necessarily exactly my cup of tea. This was on a lot of booktube lists, though, as like a, you know, great romantasy, and it is definitely a romantasy. I didn't feel meh about it. I liked it. I didn't love it. But if you're more into, I think if you like more war type books, like, this is a very good one. That's maybe like less of my cup of tea. Okay. The second book I read was Sorcery of Thorns, which is the first book in the Sorcery of Thorns. And I'm pretty sure this was a recommendation. Also, it was on BookTube, but somebody in my knitting group, Jess, recommended this to me recently. And I was like, oh, I'll put it on my list, and then got it from the library right away. So this is, how many are in this series? I think there's only 1.5 right now. There's a novella. And I don't know that more will be published on this than that novella. And I don't know if the novella wraps things up. But there definitely could be some more. it was a pretty good world that she built. Anyway, this is the book about Elizabeth, who is raised as a orphan in a great library. And the great libraries, as opposed to just a library, is a place where magical grimoires are stored, and the grimoires have like life in them, and they've got, some of them are malicious and some of them are not, and like there's just like there's spells in them, and because they put magic into them, they are magical. And she is like an apprentice then by the time you meet her at the library, and some bad things shake down, and there's a lot that happens in this book. Her life changes quite a lot. She of course meets a boy who is of course her enemy-ish, though this is also not really an enemies to lovers, but it's funny. There are a lot of funny parts. I mostly liked how it came out in the end. There was just like a lot going on. It was interesting though. There's kind of like the sense that I got from a lot of this, it's not like a heist, but you know, it's like when they know sort of what somebody is plotting, and they don't know exactly how they're getting it done and how to kind of stop what's happening. That's always an interesting thing, right? Like, so you sort of know where it's going, but you just don't know all the elements. And so it was fun like that. Like they're trying to solve a case, kind of, that was ever evolving. And it was super fun. I really love all the there's like 4 main characters kind of, and I loved all of them. Super fun. That's what I have to say about it. That one was, a thumbs up for me for sure. I'm still reading Crown of Swords, which is the 7th book of Wheel of Time. I'm pretty far through. I made a big dent in that, so not as much other reading. And I am still reading The Crowns of Nyaxia, book 1, called The Serpent and the Wings of Night. And I have not read a lot. I keep falling asleep, but I'm thinking there's a couple of, like, once I get to the body of the wood anemone, I can just zoom and read while I do that. Eyeball read. Doesn't make me fast at doing it, but that might keep me entertained while just doing a ton of stockinette knitting. So this is, hopefully going to be a kind of short-ish episode. But like I said, look out for this weekend. I will release what I could find on Ravelry for bra-friendly tops. I'll have a couple of categories. I'm not exactly sure how I want to organize it right now. It might be by weight. It might be by a random Megan category, which is always fun. Who knows what I'll come up with. I will not highlight everything. I've already made a big Ravelry bundle for this. And I'm not going to talk about all of them, so you can go look at them also. But I feel like it's an important thing to talk about, because I feel pretty aggravated that while I was looking through all these patterns, there were so many that were not size inclusive. I mean, going up to my size is the largest, which, okay, that's an extra large. But like, that is not anywhere near the size range that you need, right? Like, not anywhere near. That's annoying, because like, I don't think that you should make the decision that larger body people don't get to wear tank tops. That's how I feel about it. I also think there are so many tank tops that are so cute and size inclusive that you cannot wear a bra with. Is that size inclusive? I mean, I guess it is, like, technically, but I'm not going around without a bra, and I'm not a strapless bra wearer. I keep getting Instagram ads for this one, maybe because I say the word strapless bra and your phone is just like always listening. I keep getting these Instagram ads now, like this last week, for a strapless bra for bigger ladies, and like, who knows, maybe that would solve all my problems, but likely not. So if you like to wear a bra, and you know what? Quite frankly, it doesn't really matter what size you are. Some people are just really not comfortable in strapless bras, and some people just want to wear a bra. Like, that's just how they live their life, and it doesn't matter what size you are. If that's you, I got you covered. That's so come in this weekend. I'm really excited though. I had a lot of fun looking through these, even though I do not like to wear sleeveless things. I'm just going to be very clear. I will not likely make very many out of this bundle, but I'm going to still throw them out there for you because I think it's a hole we aren't talking about enough. And I'm really hoping that a lot of designers do better this year. Just like, you know, make tops for all of us. Yes, and yeah, more cast-ons coming, more fun things to talk about. And we are going to close out April very soon. I cannot believe that. The weather's getting nice though, and I'm looking forward to all the summer makes. I still haven't picked the date yet, but let's just do it. I think, yes. Okay, so I think we should make the Emily, Emily Curtis, we'll call it Gently Chaotic Knits summer tops. I don't know. We'll call it something. It's a naughty mess, Gently Chaotic Knits, summer, make along, pre-flock, right? So this is a lot of terms we can put in there. If anyone wants to think of a really great hashtag, put it below. That would be so fun. I think it'll start May 3rd. So May 3rd gives us a lot of weeks. I don't even know how many that is. All of May, June, and all of July for you to get a summer top made. You don't only, I mean, you can make whatever you want, but for my little flock along, I, just want to highlight these patterns. I let Emily know last week and she will probably join us. So that's very fun. I only had one person comment that they would use either platform. So will you guys let me know? Are you interested? Do you want to join? It doesn't really matter because I'm going to make a couple of these tops this summer anyway, but I had a couple people say, yeah, let's do something leading up to flock. And so I hope that you want to join. I know there's a ton of summer knit alongs going on right now. So like no pressure really, but I'm going to make them. I think I'm going to do at least 2 during that time period. So we'll be talking about them here and I'm so excited. May 3rd. So not next Friday. Is that correct? Yeah, not next Friday, but the Friday after, so that you can get a cast on on Friday night or whatever, and then zoom in to the summer. I think for this one, I really would like to do, I think I'm gonna do, well, I would probably like to do it on Discord just because I think it would be really fun if we could do a little happy hour. And that could be partway through, so we can meet each other before we meet at flock if you are going to be there and you want to show it, or if you're not going to be able to make it to flock and you want to just show off your thing and meet some fellow knitters, that would be really fun. Let me know if that's interesting. Let me know if you'd like to join, period. And still Discord or Instagram. You can do video chats on Instagram. I feel like the Discord thing is a little bit easier, especially for people to do it like on their computers then and not on their phone. That is all for me today. I must get to work now. I will film that other piece later and I will talk to everybody very soon. Have a really great weekend. I hope you're enjoying some nice weather and I'll talk to y'all really soon. So until then, happy knitting. Bye.